Hey, what's up? It's your favorite doctors, Dr. J.
And Dr. K.
All right, and we're about to hit you with week five, where we talk about Laila and Brooke. So, you know, these are my two favorites on the show. So, let's just begin talking about Laila. Laila I think she's at her lowest point. Is she is really struggling with control and what she wants to do in life. She has obviously throughout the weeks we talked about how she has endured so much trauma, so much pressure, and the lowest point is that her girlfriend Cara has laughed at her dream of escaping and moving to South or Central America. And at this stage, she has admitted that she gave away her custom-made Mercedes Benz to like a women's shelter or some sort of place. So remember, we said the last time that's one of the key signs of someone planning on committing suicide. They give away material things, and also one strategy that she did, and I don't know if this is a therapy a thing or not, but she had her to walk around and to talk and get those things in. I really love that idea of creating a pattern, and she was really just saying in the pattern that that it's a place for self-discovery, that she has to be courageous enough, and she is courageous enough to discover who she is. She just has to give herself permission. So they talked about Jung or in there and all of those things. So from a therapy standpoint, what do you think about that strategy of the circles, the walking around, all of that kind of stuff?
I think the main part of her walking around, did she mention in the beginning she felt like she wanted to get up?
Yeah.
I can't remember. But if she's so constrained within her body and her head, then she was stuck. And so I just want to get up and move. Okay, then. And then that kind of loosens things up. It's just like when I work with young people, 17 and under, a lot of times I'll play while we're talking, but it's just to get you out of your head and just kind of free flow and just say whatever comes to mind. And that was the thing, because remember, she couldn't give her favorites. She didn't know what her favorite was. She, was so these canned answers or things that she just didn't know. And it's like, get out of your head. Just who are you? What do you want? I think her picking up on the pattern was just something, that just happened. I don't think normally we would just sit there and see. But she probably noticed, like, this seems the same all the time. Recreate that, and then what does that say to you? So I thought that was innovative and something, a good spot to get her to begin to see and feel and be herself, and not so what everybody else wants her to be. She's so defined by what her grandmother says she can and can't be, and what her dad wants for her. She's I don't even know if she lost herself in the process. She's never had herself in the process. So I thought it was really powerful.
Yeah, I just feel like it's one of those powerful episodes, and it's kind of funny, and this is a perfect segue because it kind of connects to what Brooke is doing with, trying to find herself. It's one of the things that, after that session, her and Adam is talking, and he was like, you are always in your head. You don't allow yourself to feel, afraid to step out. And, so we have those things going on with Brooke, and just a couple of different things that kind of stuck out to me with Brooke. All this time she was talking about being unable to take control because of her father. But yet and still, she's talking about not having the opportunity to be a mom, but yet she's taking a Plan B pills. And it's like, on one hand, she's saying she wants this, but she's afraid to step out and do this sort of thing, this, step out into the world as a possible mother. One of the things that I love, and this is my favorite part of the episode, that we actually had Dr. Brooke receiving treatment from Dr. Brooke. And I don't know what they call this. What is this hokey thing that
therapists would do that?
No, but some therapists have you sit in multiple seats and they'll say,
how different perspective taking and all that kind of thing. But a therapist wouldn't do that for themselves.
Right. I mean, of course, she can't make a duplicate of herself.
Right,
I know that. But, what did you think about that whole scene where she's giving therapy to herself?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily therapy, well, if you want to call it that. But I think she's being self-reflective. It's alone. It's with me and my own thoughts. Like, what is really going on here, and challenging herself to go that next step. You're always talking about your dad, but what about this part? Where's your mom in this? And to really just to come to grips and come to terms with what she's really battling with, what the issues really are. And it could mean sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to get to those points. And maybe she herself thought about this idea of wanting to become a parent or be in the mothering role to her son, but then she could have a new baby, but she doesn't really want to do that. I think she's just been conflicted, and it was just a cathartic moment of like, let me look at myself, how I've ended up here, and where do I want to go.
Well, what do we learn about? What do you think we really learned about Brooke with her mom? Why did she focus so much on dad and not enough on like mom? It seemed like that, it was some key things that we're just not hearing about.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, the dad was the more active parent. If mom, did she describe her as kind of more of a friend or not really present? I think, and research shows a lot of times the person who is the more active, the more safe, the more present gets it. And so a lot of times parents will feel like, well, I've done all I could do. I've been the one that's more present. Like, why am I getting the brunt of all this? But then this other person is either the fun time person or the one that they let off the hook, or we kind of put them on a pedestal. I mean, she didn't even want to dare think about judging her mom in that way. But when it really came down to it, like that was what was missing. And I wonder if part of her is afraid that she'd be like her mom.
Well, in a sense, she is like her mom. I mean, she did talk about her mom struggling with alcoholism, and how that's being passed from one generation to the next, and how that may be one of the things that she ultimately fears, being an alcoholic. And
she's been battling this for a while. To think about her being as far back as law school. Was it law she was in, or
business school? Yeah.
So she's been in this a long time. With the rehab and all of that kind of stuff. She's been running. She's been running from herself and the truth for a long time.
The most interesting part that I found is I really love that line where she says that all of us, as soon as we escape the womb, are born alone. And basically we seek human connection a lot of times, not so much just to connect, but as a distraction from the loneliness, being able to sit in that pain. It help me out. How does expand on that particular idea? I thought we as humans really thrive on human connection. How can human connection also be a detriment to our own, self-identity?
If that human connection is not healthy, then it can be a detriment if it is used as an escape, if it's used to fulfill certain like base desires or things, as opposed to what we've been taught or things that are more moral. Whatever it is, I think people can be used as pawns in different ways. And it's sort of like the question of, should your friend, if you're a good friend, should you check your friends? Should you let them go along with anything? And so, if our relationships are ones that challenge us, push us towards greatness, towards finding our purpose, towards being healthy and healing and all of that, that would be fine. Unfortunately, we come into our relationships from our foundations, from our home relationships. So, if those aren't healthy, if those aren't secure, if those don't make us feel stable, then we do use other relationships in that same way to mask the things that we're missing. Excuse me. To give us an escape, however we cope with things. So I think it depends on what you're connecting for. If that connection is one that is towards healing, towards edifying, towards building us up, yeah, then that is a good thing. But I think more often than not, unfortunately, because people are so broken, those connections are there to try to fill spaces that other people and other things should have been in. And a lot of times just stuff that we should be in. So.
Well, it looks like she has some positive connections with Rita. And if
she's distorted. So.
Right. But you know what, from my quote unquote English perspective, maybe this is foreshadowing that she's beginning to realize that the relationship with Adam is something that she no longer needs to hold on to, because it's really just one of convenience and a distraction. It's going to be interesting as we go to the finale. Yes, we're going to the finale, y'all. Some of you have already watched it on HBOMax, but you didn't get our analysis. So, it's just going to be interesting, how this plays out. Will Brooke be able to be comfortable with herself and make those changes? Hopefully, I'm hoping on the last week we get a pause site. That's just my hope. We haven't watched it yet, so don't spoil it for us in the comments. So with that being said, this has been another fun time on the couch, the session of In Treatment. Once again, this is Dr. J
and Dr. K.
And we will see you for the finale. Peace.